Grand Rising. It is Zeralath Eternal. And, so, let me get straight to the point, because normally I don't poke the bear with titles that trip up algorithms. So, allow me to be brief with my risky free speech. Alright, so, you get a giant big page of redactedness. Now, one of the things that is redacted on one of the pages that I saw is the court of jurisdiction that the document was produced from. Isn't that interesting? Now, thing one is that this thing is in court. Thing two, things are not done in this court. Thing three, what fucking court is it? What court? Which jurisdiction is checking this out? That has the authority to do these things. Right? So, the Epstein conspiracy is an intelligence test. It's not an intelligence test in the sense of, are you smart enough to believe in it or not? Right? That's people are just like, people just think that they're smart enough to get angry about it, right? People are delusional. People are not appreciating the full breadth of context, because they want to do something that actually would save the deep state. If you just got a whole bunch of these fucking people on sex offender charges, you're just asking for very competent evil people to take the place of anybody that you're going to arrest. Because you're only addressing the issue of the sexual shit, right? You're not addressing treason. You're not addressing X, Y, and Z. So, I would recommend to everybody that you focus on the question of which court was redacted from the document that this was produced from. That's going to tell you exactly what kind of trial this has been submitted as evidence in. Because the implications, if you as America want your consciousness to, I bet his tire blew out, and you saw that yellow truck. Yeah, you would have seen it. Yeah, I think his tire blew out and he hit the divider. Doesn't look like a serious accident, but I don't think his front wheels work properly anymore, so he's gonna have to get towed. He's getting towed. Anyway, I see three of you in the chat, and I got the sun right in my eyes, so I'll get back to you once I get to my destination. I'm ahead of time. So people are talking about, right? Because if you don't handle that, it means you're not addressing the things that are taking away your freedom. I want to have justice for all manner of proper victims, right? Now, how you need to hold the government accountable, and thus also this little cocksucking administration you worship so hard, is to fucking tell these fucking people that produce the document and then speak for it, you told us yesterday, right? Every other, nobody in the fucking press looks at that and says, yo, what the fuck, and then adds pressure. They sit back and they say, oh, well, the intelligence people, right? And all you need is a fucking explanation. Like, look, at the end of the day, somebody lied to somebody, and nobody is fucking, like, saying a thing, right? Because the person who's the presenter is running like, hey, this is all acceptable, right? Because people wanted the names. And that's, because of not just who's guilty, but who the victims are also. But we already know certain things thus far. Like Prince William as a certain thing thus far. So we don't fully understand and appreciate certain implications in the world, because we don't really know things like, okay, the British royal family, how does that system work? Is it even possible to, it would be the kind of thing of just like, how would you enforce the law if you have to fucking make an international arrest of a sovereign, right? And if you can't arrest them, at the very least, let it be just out, right? But of course, if you let it out, politically speaking, people are going to say no one's above the law, right? And it's very rare that we have a punishable crime committed by, the elites, that the circumstances cannot protect them, right? It feels like they don't have the proper protection anymore. But yet, we can easily say that they do, because the trigger hasn't been pulled yet. And certainly I can't take any real fucking credit of anything that happened, because anybody who does this kind of thing is guessing, and then when it turns out they're right, they act like a prophet for a while to turn a profit, right? What was his name? Peter Schiff, the economist for Ron Paul, back in like 12 or whatever. He was like right about like the 2008 housing market crash or whatever, right? And then he kept promising us that in a few months, like the US dollar was going to collapse thanks to the Federal fucking Reserve, and shit like this. None of it fucking happened, and it didn't even require a radical act of fucking Congress to save it. Right? So, perhaps we say that's a limited hangout? Or something to that effect? How we doing here? Nicholas! Peaceful Penguin! Rebecca Campos! How you doing, Beck? Caught James shoot airship last night. I was surprised by the lack of vitriol, to be honest. Well, there isn't a whole lot of vitriol right now. Why do you need? Why does there need to be vitriol? Vitriol is a necessity when it is needed, right? You know, it's just like you have to have something within you that needs to come out and arise, right? Um, you know, you shouldn't be living your life with nerves on edge as such, right? It's just like, look at me. Of everybody there on airship, I'm the guy who's a little bit on the explosive side. I'm bombastic, high energy, strong posture, yada yada yada. My audacious sense of being this avatar, right? And so that's kind of an aspect of who I am, and even I don't spit that much vitriol, right? You know, you're watching Dojo there. There's the airships that happen on Patreon for Zoom guys, right? Vitriol is one thing that is ammunition, right? But also James doesn't have the same open space that he used to. If you were listening, did you listen to what James was saying in there about the levels of dealing with the backstabbing and the betraying or whatever? He's not trying to give himself undue fucking stress so he can perform vitriol for you, right? Vitriol was serving his purpose. It was talking about, it was lessons that came up in reflection of the great times of anger as we were going through the destruction and suppression of life on this planet between 2020 and 2022, roughly, and all the well deserved and needed manners in which we spit vitriol to purify ourselves of toxins, right? You know, in alchemical process. Now, you may need more vitriol, but I don't think I'd be giving you enough vitriol either, right? You know, once in a while, I got a reason to scream about something, right? But, you know, it's just like, you know, if you need a guy who invents vitriol, you go find a guy who does a character bit who's always angry. Zerlath Eternal is not a character bit that I do. It's an expression of an authenticity that transcends your comfort zone of a guy called Stephen Purdy, right? And vitriol is there for Steve, and it's there for Zeralath. It's there for me when I need it, because I don't think you just want authentic vitriol from people just like fucking that. Are you fucking crazy? You know, we'll burn down the whole fucking world because nobody will have time for catharsis. Insight and catharsis. The insight arises your personal insurrection. The vitriol rises from the insight. And then when it has run its course and burned out the impurity, the catharsis emerges. All right, Nick. Nick, there are 4 people here. You are not 4 people. You are 2 people at best if you're obese. Now, you have to fucking appreciate there are other people in the room that may have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about or you're talking about. Right? So be grateful that I explained what you're talking about for other people because I am fucking able to articulate it. Anyway, I'm late for work. Bye.